to non-essential travelers. Calgary offers a way to help small businesses during the pandemic. Biden's first foreign leader call will be to Canada's Trudeau. Netflix show Lupin shines new light on French crime fiction hero. Honolulu illuminates in amber in memory of American lives lost to COVID-19. And in sports, Blazers' Damian Lillard shares his passion for boxing. Hello everyone, you're watching Eagle News International from Canada. I'm Kat Joy reporting in from Edmonton, Alberta, bringing you stories from across the globe. In Ontario, there is delay in the Pfizer vaccine supplies. Eagle News correspondent Yolanda Aspiras with the details.
On January 19, Ontario announced that it has completed the first round of vaccinations ahead of schedule in all long-term care homes in the 4 regions, with the highest COVID-19 transmission rates: Toronto, Peel, York, and Windsor-Essex, as well as long-term care homes in Ottawa, Durham, and Simcoe, Muskoka District. However, on January 15, Ontario was alerted by the federal government of news regarding a delay on the Pfizer vaccine supply starting next week. Here is Premier Ford with the announcement.
The news from the federal government today that Canada won't get any new Pfizer vaccines next week, and far fewer than expected in the coming weeks, it's troubling. It's a massive concern. My message to the federal government is that nothing else matters right now. Every day we're giving out less vaccines than we have the capacity to administer is a day we lose.
As a response to this, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health has updated directions regarding the second dose administration of the vaccines. Long-term care and high-risk retirement home residents, caregivers, and staff who have received their first dose of the Pfizer vaccine will receive the second dose in 21 to 27 days. All other recipients of the Pfizer vaccine must receive their second dose after 21 days and before 42 days. For those who have received the Moderna vaccine, the scheduled 28 days to receive the second dose will remain the same. When asked for his opinion on the delay in production of the Pfizer vaccine, Premier Ford expressed his disappointment.
It makes me very, very angry. And I want to make something clear. I'm not angry at the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister. We've been working collaboratively. I'm just angry at the situation that other countries are getting at. And nothing is more important than getting these vaccines. And if I was in his shoes, I'm sure he is doing it, but I'd be on that phone call every single day. I would not stop until we get these vaccines. That's my question to Pfizer. We need your support. We need it. There's a plant, a Pfizer plant, 6 hours in Kalamazoo, Michigan, with the Americans. My American friends, help us out. We need help once again. As we did with the PPE. You have a new president. No more excuses. We need your support. And we look forward to your support. And that's a direct message to President Biden. Help out your neighbor. You want us all to get along? Help us out. I'm asking you for help.
In response to the same question, General Rick Hillier, head of the Vaccine Distribution Task Force, also provided his input. Take a look.
I would put it this way, the sky is not falling. We are still running out of vaccination program. We are getting at that most critical of priorities, the number one priority as articulated to us by the Premier and the Government of Ontario, those in most vulnerable circumstances. We are doing that as rapidly as we possibly can. We remain somewhat hesitant about what will occur after 15 February, honestly, but we will watch and see what the supply brings to us, and we're going to be ready to handle it.
In Toronto, Yolanda Aspiras, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Yolanda. And now we have our Eagle News correspondent, Melanie Ronquillo, on updates on Nova Scotia's COVID-19 immunization plan.
COVID-19 vaccine rollout in Nova Scotia continues to expand this week with 2 additional long-term care facilities and another regional hospital. Plans for additional vaccine storage locations and community clinics will be provided by the health officials. We know that Nova Scotians are eager to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, and our healthcare system is working as quickly as possible to make that happen, said Premier Stephen McNeil. In an effort to vaccinate those at highest risk and those who are critical to the healthcare response in our province, we will target our efforts where they will have the greatest impact until our vaccine supply increases. Prototype clinics will also be launched to help prepare the province to deliver and administer large quantities of vaccine as supply increases. Over the next 3 months, the province will focus on delivery to healthcare workers directly involved in the COVID-19 response, as well as staff, residents, and designated caregivers in long-term care and residential care facilities. Over the next 30 days, the province will establish 3 cold storage sites in Antigonish, Amherst, and Bridgewater, and will have the equipment needed to store all types of COVID-19 vaccine, bringing the total cold storage sites to 9. In addition to the 4 clinics currently operating, the province will open 3 new healthcare worker clinics at the IW Care Health Centre in Halifax, Yarmouth Regional Hospital, and St. Martha's Regional Hospital in Antigonish. Use Pfizer and Moderna vaccines to open more clinics in long-term care facilities, regional rehabilitation centre, and adult residential centre. Over the next 60 to 90 days, the province will open the healthcare worker clinics in Amherst and Bridgewater, launch prototype clinics for seniors who are 80 and older in Halifax and Truro, launch prototype clinics for First Nations and African Nova Scotian communities, set up mass immunization clinics in all communities with cold storage sites, expand healthcare worker clinics beyond the most closely involved with COVID-19 response, for example, primary care physicians, pharmacists, and home care workers. In Nova Scotia, this is Melanie Ronquillo. We live in interesting times.
In British Columbia, the government launches a partnership project intended for immigrants. Eagle News correspondent Kathleen Cruz with more.
The province of British Columbia launches a new community and employer partnership project intended for immigrants. The new project will fund up to 30 eligible British Columbians to acquire skills and training to get jobs in the health and social sector. According to Nicholas Simons, Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, there is a shortage of qualified healthcare assistants and personal support workers in British Columbia. The new project will target providing 23 weeks of occupational, essential, and employability skills training, 8 weeks of on-the-job experience, and 2 weeks of support for job search as part of the Health Assistant Plus Diploma program. Eligible recipients will also receive all certifications to allow them to be readily employed in the health sector. The government of BC aims to increase employment and work experience opportunities to unemployed British Columbians. Especially these challenging times have brought many to losing jobs and shortage of care workers and healthcare aides providing support to COVID-19. Currently, there is more than $15 million to be invested in these kinds of projects to continuously support British Columbians in advancing in any health profession-related education and training. Interested applicants can visit their local Work BC Center for employment and training opportunities. In Vancouver, Kathleen Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
A petition in British Columbia is urging the provincial government to close its borders to non-essential travelers. Eagle News correspondent Vanessa Condi reports.
A petition calling the BC government to lock down the provincial borders is growing online. as there are a growing number of cases across provinces, and there are signs that there is a relationship between the cases and travel. The BC government has looked into closing the borders to inter-province travelling, as announced by Premier John Horgan last week.
We do have challenges, though, when it comes to mobility within Canada. We're getting further legal advice on that. We'll be talking about it actually later today or tomorrow as part of the retreat that I referred to in my opening remarks. But to the ER doc and to other British Columbians, I agree with you that on the surface it would seem an easy thing to do to just tell people not to come here. That's not part and parcel of who we are as Canadians. Other premiers have expressed a similar view. We want to make sure people stay home, stay in place until we get through this. That's been my call. That's been the call of Dr. Henry and Minister Dix for some time now. And I've appealed to other provincial leaders to make the same case, and they're doing that. But despite that, British Columbians, Canadians are free to travel within the borders of Canada. The exception would be the bubble zone that was put in place in the Maritimes. And I just want to say, for context, the Maritimes population is not as large as that of British Columbia. So there's only a few ways in and out, and it's easier to manage than it would be here in BC. And so again, we're looking at some legal advice later this week, and I'll have more to say on that, Binder, probably early next week.
However, in a statement this week, he has mentioned the review of our legal options made it clear we can't prevent people from travelling to British Columbia. We can impose restrictions on people travelling for non-essential purposes if they are causing harm to the health and safety of British Columbians. Premier Horgan has mentioned that he has spoken to other premiers to spread the message that nobody should be travelling for non-essential reasons, which the other premiers have done so. The Tourism Association of BC said in a release, "The Supreme Court of Canada has held that Canadians' mobility rights are among the most cherished rights of citizenship that are fundamental to nationhood. The tourism industry has been one of the industries that have been mostly negatively affected by this pandemic. A tourism task force has been set up that is focused on identifying actions to help support BC's tourism businesses and workers impacted by the global COVID-19 pandemic, and put the sector on a path to sustainable recovery and growth." In Victoria, BC, Vanessa Condi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
In Calgary, the government is offering a way to help small businesses during the pandemic. Eagle News correspondent Tiffany Elisasis with the details.
Small businesses in Calgary are struggling due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many have to reduce hours, staff, or even close down due to slow business. The City of Calgary has offered a way to help these small businesses thrive and move them online. With the help of Shop Here, which is powered by Google, will be announced between February 1st to March 31st, with more than 400 businesses. During this time of crisis, many are using the power of the internet to earn a living. Local businesses are a major factor of our local economy. As business owners look for new ways to stay competitive, it's essential to venture online. With low revenue and a lot of businesses struggling to pay their rent and need a separate avenue that does not charge extra, this company is an e-commerce site which will help to sell these products online in order to help these businesses.
It's no surprise that during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of businesses, small businesses, artists, storefront businesses have been very badly hurt. And even now, as we ease restrictions on the economy, people just aren't wandering into stores the way they used to. The City of Calgary has been focused on helping businesses through this, and one way is to help businesses get online. That's why we're excited to launch Shop Here, powered by Google, which will help over 90 businesses get online with free websites.
Shop Here also hires university students and gives them a chance to earn and to help build these websites for registered small businesses. If you are a business and is interested with Shop Here, there will only be 400 spots, first come, first serve. Check out www.programs.digitalmainstreet.com/shophere-signup-AB for more information. In order to support our local businesses, look at different social media platforms, check out on what's around you, and support these wonderful individuals to help them out so we can come out of this even stronger. From Calgary, Canada, Tiffany Alisassis, we live in interesting times.
President-elect Joe Biden plans to scrap the permit for the controversial Keystone XL oil pipeline between Canada and the U.S., two Canadian broadcasters said on Sunday. CBC and CTV cited sources and notes from Biden's transition team that indicate he will rescind the permit via executive order following his inauguration on Wednesday.
So his first foreign leader call will be on Friday with Prime Minister Trudeau. I expect they will certainly discuss the important relationship with Canada as well as his decision on the Keystone pipeline that we announced today. I don't have any plans to read out for you in terms of a call with President Putin. I will note for you that I would expect his early calls will be with partners and allies. He feels it's important to rebuild those relationships and to address the challenges and threats we're facing in the world.
The $8 billion pipeline extension would transport about 500 barrels of oil per day from Canada's tar sands in Alberta to refineries in coastal Texas. Owned by TC Energy and the government of Alberta, the extension was blocked in 2008 by then-President Barack Obama due to environmental concerns. His successor, Donald Trump, moved to authorize it. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney said on Twitter that he was deeply concerned by the reports of Biden's plan to now nix the project. Alberta is in the midst of an economic slump due to falling oil prices and the pandemic. Opposition leader Erin O'Toole, who heads the Conservative Party, said that if true, Biden's move would devastate thousands of Canadian families who have already been badly hurt by the economic crisis. He called on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to immediately reach out to the incoming U.S. administration to stop this from happening. On Sunday, the Wall Street Journal reported that TC Energy plans to use only renewable energy to power the pipeline in a bid to stop Biden from scrapping it. The project has been fiercely opposed by environmentalists and indigenous groups because of the risk of oil spills and damage to sites considered sacred. The XL portion of the pipeline calls for the construction of a segment from Alberta to the Midwestern U.S. state of Nebraska, creating a more direct route to the Gulf refineries. The success of the Lupin series on Netflix is reviving public interest in Maurice Leblanc's novels about the gentleman burglar. The book that we see very regularly in the hands of Omar Sy and his son in the series is already out of print, says the manager of a bookshop on the outskirts of Paris. Netflix Lupin is the latest in a string of high-end French series to become runaway international hits. Once rubbish for its lack of original drama, French series have transplanted Nordic noir as a new streaming favorite, outshining top US and British shows.
On a très vite constaté que la série avait boosté les ventes de bouquins, puisque le livre qu'on voit très régulièrement dans les mains d'Omar Sy et de son fils dans la série est déjà épuisé, en rupture de stock. Donc on attend la réimpression et en attendant, nous, pour suivre un petit peu le mouvement et profiter de ce que la série peut avoir d'incitative auprès des jeunes, on a recommandé tout un tas de livres dont on va faire une belle vitrine du côté où il y a eu le tournage des scènes qui se passent à Montreuil, parce qu'il faut le savoir que dans la série...
Coming up, Honolulu illuminates in amber in the memory of American lives lost to COVID-19. And in sports, Blazers' Damian Lillard shares his passion for boxing. Eagle News International continues after this.
factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Agila Pilipinas! A one-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Agila Probinsya. Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to explain our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Totoo ang kasabihang may pera sa basura, lalo na kung magagawa ang iba't ibang bagay mula sa mga recyclable material na inaakala ng iba na itatapon na. May ilang barangay sa bansa ang nagre-recycle ng basura at makikita ang iba't ibang bagay na gawa sa basura. Mga dekorasyon sa bahay, sa mga proyektong ito, nagiging malinis ang kapaligiran bukod sa mayroon pang pagkakakitaan.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News International. I'm Kat Joy from Edmonton, Alberta. Organizers of the lighting ceremony, which took place in Washington, D.C. to honor the 400,000 Americans killed by COVID-19, have encouraged communities throughout the U.S. to hold similar tributes as part of a national moment of unity and remembrance. Honolulu was one of those communities, and our Hawaii Bureau has this feature. Portland's Trailblazers' Damian Lillard is known as one of NBA's best point guards and one talented rapper that goes by the name of Dame Dollar. The five-time All-Star has a deep, profound love for boxing. Eagle News correspondent Tenny Samagi files this report.
Damian Lillard is known to be one of the best point guards in the NBA. He's a talented rapper and is pretty good at boxing. He uses boxing as part of his conditioning regimen. Dame shares his passion for the sport of boxing.
Hoop is like my, hoop is like the love of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lifetime investment. I spent my whole life trying to make it here, so obviously that's going to be my thing. But, like, I don't even consider that a sport to me. Like, that's a part of my life. You know what I'm saying? I play basketball. I always have. I've invested so much time and work into it. But my favorite sport is to watch and to, like, I love boxing, bro. I boxed every day. I would get up at 7, and at 7 I would do my, like, a lift from, like, you know, lift and conditioning from 7 to maybe 8:15. And then from 8:15 to about 9:15, 9:20 was just straight boxing every morning. And then after that, I'll go straight to the gym down the street and get on the court for like an hour. So it was like from 7 a.m. to like 10:30 was lift, conditioning, boxing, hoop.
Dame is also this week's NBA Player of the Week, sharing the honors with Brooklyn Nets forward Kevin Durant. In New York, Tenny Samagi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
That's our program for today. Join us again next week as we bring stories that matter to you. Visit our website at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. I'm Kat Joy. We live in interesting times.